Hello, welcome back to episode 11 of the AI Code Central podcast with me, Caz, and
This guy.
Charlie. Actually, Charlie might be helpful in today's episode. This one, we don't bring you a special guest, but we are bringing you more of me playing with some AI tools. So if you're new to the podcast, the idea of the podcast in general is that I am very new, very green to the world of AI and everything that was contained within. And Charlie has far more experience than I, but not as much experience as a lot of the guests that we bring on. So what we try and do is have an audience filled with people of all different skill sets. So everybody is able to learn something at least. So I'm like the newbie, a little hesitant, a little unsure about the whole world of AI and not only how it works, but the impacts and what it's actually capable of. So throughout our episodes, I am going to learn how to code using various different sources. So I had some familiarity with ChatGPT. And then Charlie has introduced me to Claude and Manus. And we actually talked about in an episode about, I think it was 2 episodes ago, about how I used Manus in a real world example because I needed to see what my house would look like with different types of roofs. And so because Charlie had introduced me to new tools, I was able to figure out that neither Claude nor ChatGPT could do what I wanted, but Manus could. So I'm learning and then I'm actually applying in real life, which is cool. I'm not going to lie. Not only was it cool, it was super helpful because I made a decision on the roof. So we are a relatively new podcast, which considering the caliber of guests we've had on our new podcast is pretty like round of
Pretty
applause
cool,
for
yeah.
us. It is. But because we're not new to podcasting, because we do host a different podcast, but we are sort of still experimenting with the like processes and how best to kind of go about certain things. And we were kind of talking offline the other day about research because I do Charlie is great at identifying the kind of guests that we want on, but because I'm new to the AI world, I don't know anything about them, which in a way is fantastic because then I go ahead and I do most of the research because Charlie says I'm a creeper and I love to dig around and find out about people. I don't know, watch YouTube videos or go on LinkedIn. But I have been using also ChatGPT or Claude or Manus to help with some of the research. So Charlie and I were talking offline about what if we could build something that kind of automates some of that for us. And then we open up our inbox and boom, there's some information. So Charlie had suggested that we go ahead and like build something. And I said, well, let's do it on a podcast episode because I don't know what I'm doing, which means other people don't know what they're doing. And it's going to be a great kind of learning experience. Because if you remember one of our first episodes we did, it was me code vibing on one of the other episodes. So that's what we're going to do today. So code vibing. I don't know how I feel about that word. It's just such a weird expression. Anyway, so basically that's what we're going to do today. And we're basically, if I got this terminology right, are we agent building? Are we building an agent that's going to do what we want it to do? Is that the correct expression? Okay.
We are making our lives easier.
We are, exactly. So the first thing that I did this morning was I asked ChatGPT/Henry, hopefully everybody knows the lore of the name Henry now. I asked Henry, like, what is agent building? Can you tell me? I said, please explain in one sentence what agent building is in the AI world. Because again, I'm unfamiliar. So this is what ChatGPT/Henry said. He said, in the AI world, agent building is the process of designing and assembling autonomous software agents that perceive their environment, integrate large language models and other tools, reason and plan tasks, and then make decisions to carry out actions towards a goal with minimal human intervention. And then I was like, cool. So can you do this? And he's like, nah. He said, I can certainly guide you through the concept, tools, and best practices involved in agent building and provide step-by-step instructions or research. However, as a text-based assistant, I don't have the ability to deploy or run an autonomous agent directly. My role is to help you understand and plan the process. So Henry is out for this particular situation. But what is not out is a website that Charlie introduced me to very briefly. It's called n8n.io. So n, the number 8n.io. And allegedly, this is going to help me build something. So we're going to learn together. I've already logged in to save some time. So I'm going to start sharing my screen and hopefully we're going to build something today. So fingers crossed. Let's see. All right. I'm assuming you can see my screen now.
Yeah. Cool website,
Correct.
by the way.
Okay. So I have logged in. As you can see, I have done nothing on this website. So real quick, do you want to give an outline of what I'm going to attempt to build today?
Our scraper, like our content scraper. Yeah. So when we record on Tuesdays or Wednesdays, the episode will be that style of episode will be informational, like have a guest on. But before we go into the interview, we can talk about like, what's the latest in AI, maybe some news, trending topics. This company put out this product or made this update, or Google updated Sheets to automate formula writing or whatever that is. We're going to build agents, plural, I don't know, to take that task off of Caz's hands, our hands. And so it would scrape the web, it would scrape Reddit. I think you can do Twitter too, I think is what we said, on certain topics related to our niche that are worth talking about during the recording of the Tuesday episode or the Wednesday episode. And all of that will be done autonomously and just land in our inboxes. So all we see in our inbox is a formatted doc with the latest news around AI dovetailed to our podcast.
Okay. So I'm assuming where it says start from scratch, that's where I'm starting from scratch, right? That's what I'm assuming. So I'm just going to do that.
Well, you can ask Henry for directions. I was doing this last night in the app. It was like,
do I tell him that I'm using this?
Tell him the idea. Yeah,
okay.
Tell him the idea, and then tell him almost like a PRD, like a product requirement doc. Like,
all right. So also for newbies like me, this is where prompts come in super helpful. And I am not really, I wouldn't call myself proficient with prompts because I only very use it for like specific tasks that I've done before. So we're going to try a prompt. And the more details you give ChatGPT/Henry, the better return of information you're going to get. So we say, hello, because politeness is always...
Well, pardon me. You have to tell them how to think. Like, think deep on this. This is a project that's going to help our podcast called AI Code Central, and that gives them context. And then if you're in agent mode, which it looks like you are, it'll scrape that and then give you a better response back.
Okay, so once a week. Prior to our podcast content or interviews, we like to have a 15 to 20 minute preamble where we catch up on life and also any new news or developments in the AI world. I would like to... Is it correct to say that I would like to build an agent? Is that the correct terminology for what I'm trying to do? Or no?
Yeah. So I like build an agent and then parentheses. Okay. Is that the correct?
Oh, you can do that.
And then just lay out the idea.
That scrapes Reddit, YouTube, X, and top me. Yeah, why not?
Or no?
And top news websites for any topical news, information, developments in the AI world. Okay, I can't spell, everybody. In the AI world.
Did I text you or Slack you that screen grab of a prompt that was like this?
I'm going to check my phone because I don't want my
Okay.
My
Yeah.
private messages up there, you very well may have done. So, nope, that's
I,
you asking me for chicken parmesan 20 times.
yeah, I was
Did you
really
ever
into
get your
chicken
chicken
parm.
parm? Let me
Actually, yeah,
check
my
Slack.
girlfriend made some.
Oh, did she? She's a good cook, though. Charlie.
It was pretty good. Yeah. You can send me some pizza. That'd be great.
Oh, now we're on pizza. Okay. Okay, we've moved on from chicken parm to pizza. Let me just check. I'm not seeing it super quickly, so I'm going to continue writing this if you just want to double check our
All right.
chats because I don't want to hold people up. So
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
like to build
Okay.
an agent that scrapes Reddit, YouTube, X, TikTok, and top news websites for any topical news, information developments in the AI world. I need the agent to verify accuracy and not just assume that the information scraped is factual because people on the internet like to lie or
Uh,
exaggerate.
yeah, I selected you. Okay, so it says, here's the prompt I saw. I think it was on LinkedIn. Think very deeply.
Okay.
I need you to search the web, act like a social media expert who needs to find 3x different angles for a new article. My niche is your niche here. A good article is a recent news story, which means in the last 3 days or so that went viral and impacted my niche. Be creative. Sometimes the right news is not exactly following the keywords of my niche. Two, in evergreen educational content that people need on my niche. Beware. It has to be extremely specific. For example, how to use AI isn't specific, but how to prompt Mid-Journey to get a realistic fashion show photo shoot is right for the niche. AI tools for designers. Three, recent Reddit frustrations concerning my niche that went viral. That's a good one. Recent means the last 7 days. You can also check in different languages.
But this
Is
is
that
what I'm asking the agent. This isn't what I'm asking ChatGPT. That's what I would put into the agent, into N8N.
This is what you would put into Henry. So this is
Oh,
very similar to what we're doing now. And then we can take this, um, almost get a PRD, product requirement doc, like a scaffolding, like an outline. I've never done this before, so this is what I'm thinking that we start with. Then we take this into N8N, I believe, or it could just be not, and we just waste all this time.
well, but that's how we learn, right? Is by making mistakes.
Yeah, and then I'll have to hear you complain. Then I'm gonna get poopy pants, and
I don't
then
complain, Charlie.
all
My
right.
niche is just a weekly podcast for people who have different levels of AI experience.
Yeah, and we interview builders, founders, investors. We talk all things
Okay, I need you to. Wow, I need to go to school and learn how to type.
AI. Yeah, search
Okay,
for social media.
so
Oh, you know what? Actually,
yeah,
instead of act like a social media expert, it could be like act like a social media or a social media act instead of social media expert. You can say act like a podcast producer who needs content, something like that. I think you know where I'm going with that. And at least, yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, shout out to I give credit. I think it was Anisha Jane. Shout out Anisha Jane.
who's that?
That's a good question. I'm glad you asked. She is a content creator and a brand ambassador.
Hmm.
Content creator for How to AI. It's looks like it's educational. Wow. A lot of followers. Easy Gen, brand ambassador, page admin, how to prompt. She's very deep in AI. It's great content, by the way. Good stuff. She's out of
A
London.
recent news story. Ooh, well, I mean, there you go. That would explain it, right?
London, England, Anisha Jane. You know what? I'm going to see if she wants to come on the podcast. Brand ambassador. Anyway.
Okay. A recent news story in the last 3 days that has gone viral and has impacted my niche. Why do I keep typing a four? Be creative and check for accuracy. What else do we have? An evergreen educational content. An evergreen educational content that pertains to my niche, but make it super specific. Make it super specific. And 3, recent Reddit conversations that concerns my niche and went viral. Recent for Reddit would be the last 7 days. Okay. So
Nice.
I've told it what I want. I've told it where I want it to scrape. I've told it what I consider to be a good article, right? So I've told it who we are. I've told it to think deeply. I need you to search the web, act like a podcast producer who needs relevant content to provide the co-host to discuss at the beginning of each episode. It needs to be of interest to listeners and viewers. It can be serious or funny because I don't want it to be like all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My niche is a weekly podcast for listeners who have varying levels of AI experience. We interview founders, investors, builders, etc. We talk all things AI. I'd like to build an agent, is that the correct terminology, that scrapes Reddit, YouTube, X, TikTok, and top news websites for any topical news, information developments in the AI world. I need the agent to verify accuracy and not just assume that the information scraped is factual, because people on the internet like to lie or exaggerate. A good article would be a recent news story in the last 3 days that's gone viral and has impacted my niche. Be creative and check for accuracy. An evergreen educational content that pertains to my niche, but make it super specific. Recent Reddit frustrations or conversations that concerns my niche and went viral. Recent for Reddit would be the last 7 days.
Okay.
So do I tell ChatGPT that I'm planning on building this in N8N, or I? Okay.
Yeah. Let's see what he says.
I'm planning on using N8N.io to build this, but I have literally no experience on that website, nor building an agent.
Nor know what an agent is.
Nor building an agent. I'm going to put, I barely know what an agent is.
And then you can say something like, please give me step by step. How do I start? You're going to be sitting shotgun through this. You know, something like that. I was doing this last night.
Please give me step by step. How do I start? What do I do? Treat me like an idiot.
What was he going to say? He's like, all right, stupid, let's get started. Click this button.
Kindly. Okay. Are we ready?
All right, let's do it. Treat you like an idiot.
Okay. All right, Henry / ChatGPT-5 agent mode, agent Johnny 5. I want to change his name to Johnny. We talked about this before.
Johnny?
Johnny 5 is alive from Short Circuit, because this is ChatGPT-5, right?
Did we talk about this?
We did, because you were like, where's that name from? It's Short Circuit with the robot. Everybody thinks that Johnny 5 dies or is destroyed, but then Johnny 5 comes around the corner. Johnny 5 is alive.
What is Short Circuit again?
It's a movie.
Oh, is that
I haven't.
Is it like from the 80s, like the 90s?
Oh yeah, it's old. It's old. Yeah.
Is that the one where there's like a VCR machine, and it's got like the mouth is the VCR machine,
and Johnny's like, there's a bunch of robots. They all look the same, and they're on like almost like tractor type wheels. But Johnny 5 has this Indian accent, and I don't watch very many movies, and if I do, I don't remember them 90% of them. But Johnny 5 is alive is always stuck in my head. So when we heard about ChatGPT-5, I was like, we need to change the name from Henry to Johnny. Johnny 5 is alive. Okay, so if you're watching the screen or if you're listening, this is what ChatGPT / Henry / Johnny came back with. He said, got it. I'll gather the information you need to start building an agent using N8N.io for scraping Reddit, YouTube, X, TikTok, and top news sites for AI-related news. I'll look for viral stories, evergreen educational content, and current Reddit discussions relevant to your AI podcast, ensuring the information is accurate. I'll return with step-by-step guidance on how to set this up, ensuring everything is clear and beginner-friendly. And I've already forgotten one important part of this agent. I need this agent to compile this information into an email and send it
Oh
to
yeah.
me on a Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. EST.
Bam.
Sorry, Henry, Johnny, to interrupt you. He's thinking now. So he's back to thinking. See, that's the thing, right? Like how easy that part is like a super important part of what we're doing because we want the automation in it. Okay. And I had already forgotten to ask it about that. So that's why like the prompts are really important, but the ability to go back and add to that. And I'm sure there's something else that we've either forgotten or once we work through this process, we'll want to add in because like it's like you learn as you go along, right? But that was a really important step that I had not remembered to include. So now he says, understood. I'll include the requirement to compile the gathered AI news and Reddit content into an email and schedule it every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. I'll make sure this new instruction is incorporated into the steps using N8N.
Bam. Good.
And now he's just working through his little task. And now we wait and
Is
hope that
there
he gives me step by step.
on N8N, is there a chat interface or is it just like a wireframe? Looks like it's just a wireframe.
Yeah, it's saying add first step, but I'm not touching anything until Johnny Henry comes back and gives me a step by step.
Huh.
Because this scares me. This scares me.
I think this is
This
where
is
you put the flow of the agent. So it's like you start to say add first step. Yeah. So like if this then that. So first step would be the browser. I could be way off. Like a Chrome goes to Reddit and then gets content topics, and then next step is to dump it onto a PDF in your drive. I guess email. I don't know. We have to see.
this
I feel like
literally looks like terrifying, like when somebody opens Excel for the first time, like and they don't know what. Like I will tell you while we're waiting on Henry, my husband sometimes has to use Excel to create things for work, and my husband is an electrician by trade, so he like one finger types, but sometimes he has to write up panel schedules and he needs to do it in Excel because he doesn't do his own invoicing. It is so painful to watch him do this. I either have to do it myself for him or literally leave the room because it's so, and the thing is, we all have talents, right? I couldn't do what he does for a job for a second, but it is so painful watching him try and navigate Excel and then I literally will leave the room because I just can't do it anymore, and I feel bad. He knows enough now, but before I would just get out of my way and let me do it because I can do it in like 2
Yeah,
minutes.
I totally picture you just bulldozing. Get the hell out of my way. This is
I
driving me
cannot.
crazy. Get me in
It's painful when he's like, "Where's your laptop?" I'm like, "Oh God, just take it and leave." Because so like I understand how intimidating like Excel is when you don't know very much or you're looking at it for the first time. So looking at this screen right here is just I wouldn't even know what on earth I'm doing. At least with like Claude, Manus, and ChatGPT, there's the box, right? So okay, I'm asking a question here, or I'm writing something here. This thing is terrifying.
And
Um,
they're like completely different though, right? Like this is
you
talking Henry. The other one is building. Like
right,
you have to
yeah.
like stitch it together.
So you have built things. Have you used Lovable, Bolt, and N8N? Have you
I've
used
never
all
used
three
any.
of those?
I've
Oh,
never
you've
used
not
any.
used this
I've
one.
used.
Okay.
I was up so late last night, like 1
Mm.
a.m. Lovable, and the app I'm using has a GPT-5, well, an open AI API. So on one side, I'm, I have a big monitor. So on one side is Lovable to like
Yeah.
build the app. The other side of the screen is Henry to tell me how to navigate the API.
Hmm.
So I've never used N8N, but I've used Bolt and Lovable. But I went about it last night. There's this huge problem with Henry as my co-pilot. on troubleshooting actually worked. I couldn't believe it. It actually worked. For like 6 straight hours, there was like one error that we couldn't get to the bottom of, and it was mind numbing. So I've just been using Lovable lately. I think it's easy to use. I think it's very easy to use. I've used Bolt. I think they did like a sample website, and it was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But as of like the last month or so, I've just been so deep in Lovable, and GPT,
Mm-hmm.
where like when you start like let's say Caz creates a podcast app like 2.0, your first thing you do is like use ChatGPT for like a outline of the product requirement doc. You can generate that from Henry and then just feed that into Lovable, like paste that in, and then tell it does this, these features, it solves this problem. It should look like this. The functionality is this, not this. Here's some competitors. Here's blah blah blah. Like all that gets spit into your builder. In this case, Lovable.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. It seems like that's what's generating right now for N8N, but I don't know. There's no chat interface. Like you can't. Seems we'll have to take more steps to get to where we want.
Is there a chat interface in Lovable?
Yeah, like that's exactly what it is. It's picture Henry, but specifically for apps and websites.
Okay, so Henry's finished. He says, here are your research notes and a step-by-step blueprint for building an automated weekly pre-show research agent in N8N. The attached notes documents gives you verified AI news and discussions that fit your show's format. Below the notes, I explain how to build the agent so that it collects similar stories, verifies them, and emails you every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And then research notes. I've compiled a markdown file summarizing a recent viral story, an evergreen educational topic, and a trending Reddit discussion. It also touches on other current events such as Meta's cloud deal, MIT's Gen AI divide study, and Grot chat leak. You can read the notes here. So then it's provided a bunch of notes on those topics, which I'm not going to go through and read right now because that's not the point of what we're trying to do here. Okay, so then it's setting up a N8N and sources. Create an N8N account. I did that. Decide what APIs you could use. You'll need to register developer accounts on each platform and store your credentials.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have that. I don't have
Okay. That. So maybe this will be a 2-part episode.
Okay. You'll need to register developer accounts on each platform and store your credentials in the credentials manager. For your news sources, you can either use their official APIs or RSS feeds. Learn basic N8N nodes. Cron node, which schedules the workflow. HTTP request mode, which fetches data from APIs and RSS feeds. Function node, which runs custom JavaScript to process filter results. Merge node, which combines the data from multiple sources, set node, which builds the email message, and email node, which sends the compiled report. Okay, so for somebody that doesn't know crap about crap, that actually makes sense to me. Like each node is a different step in the process, right? So one, like, okay, this is your workflow schedule. 2, I'm going to go get data from here. I'm going to combine them. I'm going to build a message. I'm going to send the message. So each thing has a different job. So for somebody who's very new to the process, that completely makes sense. And then building the workflow step by step. So you add a cron node, place a cron node at the start of your workflow, configure it for a weekly schedule day of a week, Tuesday at 9 a.m. This ensures the workflow triggers automatically. Then you're going to fetch your news stories. Then you're going to fetch your evergreen content. Then you're going to fetch your Reddit discussions. Then you're going to fetch your YouTube, TikTok, X content. Then you have to verify the accuracy. So I have to create a function node that cross-checks the content to make sure that it's accurate.
Yeah.
Then I have to compile the email. Then I have to send the email. Then I have to test it. So it's a lot of different steps and it's a lot of different buildings. So I do think this is going to be a 2-part series because obviously part one was like, how do I do this? And then part two will be us doing it. And then tips and best practices. So treat your APIs and scraping with respect. Many platforms limit requests and require proper authentication. Read their terms of service to avoid getting blocked. Keep it modular. Build each source as a separate branch. That makes it easy to debug and adjust filters. See, that makes sense, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't have thought about that. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? Like, oh, okay, yeah, I get that, but it wouldn't have been something that in my brain was like, oh, I need to do that. Focus on your niche. The more specific your search terms, the more relevant the results will be. Plan for failure. Well, yeah, hello. Add error handling into NAN so that if one source fails, i.e., API downtime, the workflow still sends whatever other information is gathered.
Ooh,
So by
yeah, good
following
call.
these steps, you have an automated research agent that gathers timely news. So would that be me saying, hey, if something fails from your Reddit search, just ignore that step but continue the others? Is that what
Yeah.
that means?
Yeah.
Okay. And then by following these steps, you'll have an automated research agent that gathers timely AI news, evergreen topics, and community chatter, verifies them against reputable sources, and sends you a concise briefing every Tuesday morning. So basically, in this episode, what we've done is we've identified what we're trying to do. We've given ChatGPT/Henry/Johnny as much information as is relevant at this point. Now, that doesn't mean we haven't forgotten anything. That doesn't mean that we won't go in and change it, but we've given it quite a specific prompt. And then ChatGPT has basically worked through that prompt and effectively prepared a pre-show amble, right? Given these news stories that it found, and has then provided us a step-by-step process of what we need to do on N8N. The reason that we can't go ahead and build on N8N right now is because during all of this, we have learned from ChatGPT that in fact we need to register developer accounts on each platform, which I didn't know was a thing. And therefore I haven't done it. I don't know if you knew it was a thing, but this is what's great about ChatGPT. It's like, if you don't do this, what's going to happen is you could potentially get blocked or you're not going to get your information. So you need to do this. And in order for NAN to create this agent, you have to then put your credentials in to their manager so that it's verifiable and legit. So we're going to have to do that on the back end because we're not going to spend 20 minutes on a podcast walking through
Yeah.
all of that. We'll do that on the back end. But then we'll do that. So then we'll come back for another episode, taking this information that ChatGPT gave us and put that into NAN and see how effective this process is that it's given us.
Let's do it.
That's the plan.
Think,
That's the plan, friends. That's the plan.
Can you ask it real quick, like something like, to avoid complexity, what if we just wanted to scrape Reddit, like certain Reddit threads or subreddits, I guess they're called. What if we just got news sources from there, even though it's probably not the most reputable, but figure that just have an agent do that. I think Henry could do that.
To avoid complexity? I'm sorry, friends. There is literally a cat sitting between my screen and my keyboard. Hence why I'm doing. He likes to come to work and sit on the keyboard and not do anything but get in the way. So if you see me,
I'm thinking like with API keys, you have like a lot of security around it. That's a huge prompt. The only one.
yeah. He says, understood. If you only want to pull discussion threads from Reddit, the workflow becomes much simpler. You can drop the other API calls and focus slowly on retrieving high engagement posts from subreddits relevant to AI. Here's how. I'm sorry. Here's how to set that up in NAN. Identify the subreddits and time window. Set up the NAN workflow.
Yeah, maybe like we can tell it to scrape like OpenAI and then Anthropic and then Lovable and like news around that, maybe just as an idea, something like that. APIs can get pretty complex. Like there's all kinds of safety issues there. I guess we can talk about it next week, but this is just an idea.
So I could potentially, if my cat would move out of the way, please scrape Reddit and identify relevant subreddits. Let's see. Because there's so many subreddits on Reddit. There's a subreddit for quite literally everything.
With this, I forgot. There's only so many agent calls you can have. Let's see. Click on the blue agent in the.
This?
Yeah, I think it tells you how. Oh, I guess you undid it. Yeah, agent. It should tell. I thought it told you how many you have left.
You can only ask so many questions from the agent.
Yeah, from agent mode. Let's see. Click on sources.
Wow, I didn't even spell scrape right. That is terrible. My typing is so bad.
Search. Oh, it's okay. Oh, okay. No. All right. Let's see what it comes up with. 7 best AI subreddits in 2025, 30 plus considered. So we'll have to put like more guardrails on it. I don't like the idea of just a Reddit thread because anybody with the internet can just spit out, whatever they want on Reddit. I'd rather have something more reputable. So like,
Yeah.
how do we find reputable Reddit posts? I guess engagement over a certain amount, maybe.
The
Maybe
thing is,
names.
it's going to scrape not only the Reddit post, but also the responses to that post, right? And people on
Mm,
Reddit are real quick to call you out on your shit if you're full of it.
that's good.
I'm not
Okay.
saying I'm not saying oh Reddit is the be all and end all by any means, but what I am saying is if you go on there with some jacked up thing, you will get called out real quick and people will come with receipts. So if it's
Okay.
checking for accuracy, but then what's it checking against? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the only thing.
Yeah.
But this is great.
Okay.
ChatGPT, OpenAI, artificial intelligence, machine learning, ChatGPT Pro, AGI, AI prompt programming, Midjourney, Stable Diffusion, Singularity. Oh, and then there's other subreddits as well. While not strictly AI focused, these subreddits host conversations about funding, scaling, and marketing trends, topics that
Hmm.
intersect with AI start. Do you know what then? Maybe this is the way that we go. Maybe when we initially create this or build this, we just do Reddit, right, as an experiment, and we see what kind of results we get in the first week or two's emails, right? And then we can modify out from there.
All right.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe that's how
Yeah.
we do it to kind of simplify it. Because again, we don't want to like we're only at a level 2 here in skill set, if that. I'm being generous to myself. Like we can't go to a 10 immediately, but we can at least trial and error and see if it's producing what we need it to produce.
Yeah. Let's do that. Let's do it.
So yeah, I think
That's
that's what we
episode
do.
2, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do this episode 1 because it is like it's not an all-in-one situation, right? Obviously, I had to use ChatGPT to help me. So like learning a prompt and putting in a good prompt and then realizing that there's stumbling blocks, that's a whole lesson in itself. There are people who we've had on our show who are excellent builders. I'm thinking like Adrian, Chris, Meg, like those people are excellent builders, but that's only come from time and experience. And
Yeah.
I'm sure if I said Adrian, Chris, whoever, I need this built, they would have it to me in 30 minutes. But that's because they're experienced and they know what they're doing. I
Mm.
don't. I don't have a clue. And that's kind of the whole point is that our listeners and our viewers are learning along with me. So we've already seen stumbling blocks. And I think it's a good lesson because if you're a brand new builder, don't get put off by those stumbling blocks. Understand that you're going to hit them, that it's not a very simple process. But once you've built your first app with NAN, Lovable, Bolt, whatever it is, you'll know about those stumbling blocks. So next time you go to build something, you will have already allowed for that in your process.
Yeah. You'll think ahead more is what will happen. You'll think like much more clearly.
I mean, if you
Into the
consider you've been playing with this for a long time now and you've built a few things, if you go back and look at the first time you built something to the last time that you started to build the next project, think about the things that you've learned from that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I bet you now you save a lot of time in the process because you've already established certain things in your mind of what to do and what not to do, or how to ask or how not to ask, because those things are now ingrained in you because you've been building and learning so much
Yeah.
versus me who hasn't. So like your process now with building, I bet it doesn't even look anywhere near the same as it did the first time.
No, I learned like how to scope it out, the app, how to scope it out, how to talk to AI. I think that's ongoing. No, it's much different than it was. The first time, that first app I made
Mhm.
was that forecast tool, which is pretty badass.
Mm.
I literally just stumbled into that thing. Yeah, that's if I were to do that now, I could like one shot it. Like tell Lovable build this in like one prompt, and it would be functional and like APIs and like custom or a subdomain on our agency. Like it would be, it's like 9 day.
Okay. Well, I think what we'll do is we'll wrap up this for today, and then we will come back with the second episode shortly. I do know we have an interview coming up, but we won't drag this out for months on end. We will come back with the second episode, and we'll get working on NAN and see how that works out.
Yeah, let's do it. We're oh, by the way, yeah, we're interviewing MP from Lovable here pretty soon, which should be pretty cool. Stoked about
Nice. I'm excited. Yeah, that'll be
that.
good.
Yeah.
We'll have someone from Lovable, and then, well, we have other guests that are related to that. So
Yeah.
that'll be fun.
Cool,
Okay,
cool.
well, we'll be back with another episode real soon. Hope you learned from this. In the meantime, my challenge would be to do what I just did. Think of something you want to create and work through as far as I did with either ChatGPT or Claude or Manus, and get to the same point we did with your step-by-step instructions, and then hold on to that. And then watch me build with NAN, and then you can build your app alongside me building ours. That's your challenge.
Bam. We'll see you next time.
Bye.